Hey, it's Dan from AdWords Nerds, and welcome. This video is all about answers to probably some of our most common new client questions. And these are questions that come up all the time. They're totally understandable questions to have. I want to go out of my way to answer those questions up front so that you feel totally in control, totally clear on what's happening, why certain things are happening, and all these common pitfalls you can totally avoid. This video is going to be hopefully quick, and it's going to just be a really good introduction to working with us and kind of understanding how we do things and making sure that your questions get answered. So let's jump straight into it. These are the most commonly asked questions, right? Number one is, how do I know when we are getting started? How do I know when you guys are launching my account? Right. Number two is, how do I know that leads came from you? If I get a lead into my system, how do I know it came from AdWords versus direct mail or SEO or something like that? Number three is, how can I see my ads? How do I know my ads are running? Four is, when will I get my account updates and reports? Five is, why aren't I showing up for, X keyword or particular keyword, something like that. And number six is, how do I contact you or schedule a call? Number seven is all about what to expect next. So let's jump into this. So how do I know when you guys are getting started? How do I know when the setup is done and you're launching my account? Well, a member of our team is going to contact you before launching your accounts. So we never launch your campaigns without your go-ahead. It means that you're not going to spend money with any of these ad networks that we might be setting you up with until we email you and let you know and you give us the thumbs up. So keep in mind that if during the setup phase we need certain information from you, like we need a card number or a zip code or whatever, and there's a delay in that, that's going to delay the launch because we need that information, right? But assuming that everything goes fine and everybody's clear on what we need, we'll just keep you in the loop during the entire process, and we'll be sure to shoot you an email before we actually launch anything. So if you haven't heard from us, it just means we're working on the setup and we haven't launched yet. Now, how do you know that leads come from us? If you get a lead in your backend system, how do you know it comes from us? Well, this depends a bit on your own backend setup. If you're using a CRM, which is a customer relationship management tool, a piece of software like Podio or InvestorFuse or Infusionsoft or something like that. We're going to work with you in the beginning during the setup to input our leads automatically and tag them appropriately. So when you go into your backend, they should be labeled as coming from us, coming from a certain keyword, certain ad, something like that. If you're using a system like InvestorCarrot, our leads are going to be labeled Google search in your InvestorCarrot backend. So that's another way you can tell. We're also going to set up lead tracking for emails and phone calls inside AdWords. And when you log into AdWords, if you look at the conversions column, you'll see a number there. That's the number of leads that AdWords believes that that account has generated over the time that you're looking at. We're also going to email leads to you most of the time. It depends a little bit on your system. Usually you're going to get an email from us when a lead comes in, and that'll be a clue that it's happening. So it all depends on what you have set up. We're going to work with your system, whatever you have, in order to make sure that it's as clear as humanly possible. So that's kind of the major ways that we tell. If you have any questions about your specific setup, just let us know. So this is a big one. How can I see my ads? How do I know my ads are running? First of all, and I want to be super clear about this, do not Google yourself or your own keywords in order to see your ads. And I want to say this again. Do not Google yourself or your own keywords in order to see if your ads are running. This can actually hurt you because it causes you to pay more than necessary even if you don't click. And I won't get into the technical aspects of why that is. Just keep in mind that when you Google something in order to trigger your own ad and you don't click, you are actually hurting your own account in the process. And we really want to discourage you from doing that. But it's totally understandable that you're curious and you want to see if your ads are running, right? So the best way to see your ads is to use the official Google Ad Preview tool, which is inside AdWords. So I made a separate tutorial on using this tool. You can see it in the video that's at adwordsnerds.com/see-my-ads. That's adwordsnerds.com/see-my-ads. I made that tutorial just for you guys. We want to make sure that you use that tool and only that tool if you're trying to see your ads in the wild. Or just ask us if you want to see some ads. We're happy to show you. Again, we're totally transparent about what we're doing, and you have total access to what we're doing at all times. So we just want to make sure that you know you can get that information in a safe way and not in a way that's going to actually hurt your own performance long run. So when am I going to get my account updates and reports, right? How are we going to keep you updated about what's going on with the account? Well, once you're launched, you're going to receive custom reports every Friday by email. Okay, now these reports are going to contain a link to a custom dashboard, and that's going to have a ton of useful info we update for you every Friday. It's also going to include a quick update on what we worked on that week, plus plans for expansion, problems we're running into, interesting things. We're just going to make notes of those there. So really, that's going to be the primary way you get updates on the account. You're always welcome to log into the account, but actually the AdWords account can be difficult to read. And so we've really worked on making these reports totally clear, arranged in a convenient way, containing the information you're going to need. So really it's just going to be all about looking at the reports, taking time to read them, and kind of getting the information from there. It's going to be really the most efficient way to get updates about the account. Now, why aren't I showing up for a certain keyword? So X keyword, Y keyword, why aren't I showing up? Well, it's a really good question. And I actually have a whole video on understanding keywords coming up, like how we choose which keywords we target and why you may show up for some and not for others. So there's going to be an entire video dedicated to that. But to get into it just briefly here, there are many reasons you may not show up for a particular keyword. That keyword may be too expensive or low performing, right? So it might be a good keyword, but everyone's competing for it, so it costs too much. Or we may have tested it and found out that it didn't actually perform as well as we thought. It may be simple luck of the draw or randomness. If you take an entire day, if thousands of people are searching for a keyword throughout the course of the day, and you have anywhere from a dozen to a couple dozen different competitors, some of those times you're going to show up for that keyword, and some of the times you won't. And that's just kind of how the process works. And so you may show up 80% of the time, but not actually see the keyword when you go ahead and search for it yourself. You may actually be blocked from seeing your own ads. This is a program that we run specifically designed to prevent your competitors from searching for your ads and clicking on them in order to drive up your costs. So we actually watch the data and see if we see the same person doing similar searches a lot but not clicking, or clicking in a suspicious way. And if that's the case, that program is going to automatically click into working, and it's going to block you from seeing the ad. So that might actually have happened. That happens actually fairly frequently. And we may have just recently paused or bid down that keyword based on something that we're seeing in the account. So there's a lot of different reasons you may or may not show up for a certain keyword at a certain time or a certain type of day. If you have questions about why that's happening, it's important to ask us, because there's almost always an explanation. And it's usually not that we just haven't thought of a keyword, because we put a lot of effort into our keyword selection. So again, make sure you check out the video I'm going to send to you in a little bit about keyword selection, how we do that, because it can get a little complex, but it's definitely worth it to understand. So this is an important one. Like, how do I contact you guys or schedule a call, right? I am so glad you asked. So first of all, we have a clients only email address for you to use. That's help@adwordsnerds.com. That goes to every member of our team. So I see those emails, Andrew sees those emails, Justin sees those emails, Karina sees those emails. This is the fastest way to get a response from us. It allows us to very accurately track what's going on and see which emails need to be responded to. So please, 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 if you have a question, email us there. We typically respond within 24 hours. Okay. We're a small team, and we are actively involved, every single one of us, on every account. And so we are like buried in the data, buried in the marketing, buried in the accounts pretty much all day. We do our best to get back to you as quickly as humanly possible, but we do usually kind of hit that in a 24-hour period. Now, our office hours just in general are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And so if you email us kind of on the weekend or very early, or if you're in a different time zone, we may be slower to respond. It's just kind of a fact of being with a smaller team. If you need to schedule a call with us, all you have to do is shoot us an email, and we're going to send you a link to schedule in our calendar. But it is actually much easier for us, and actually faster for you, just to email us a question so we can answer via email. Calls are great, and we're definitely willing to do them with you if there's a very, very serious issue, or it's been a while since we've spoken and you really need an update that you can't get via the reports. But calls are very time consuming for us. And while we actually like to do them, and we actually do them probably too much, it does take us away from actually doing the work on the account that you paid us to do. So I want to make sure that just, you can get us and we're available to you, but at the same time, you're willing to respect that process and respect our team's time. So like we have actual time to implement the changes you need and actually improve the account. So that's how you schedule a call. Just shoot an email, help@adwordsnerds.com. Let us know you want to schedule a call, and we'll send you a scheduling link. And just be as understanding as humanly possible about the limitations of our response time while we're also working on your account. So here's what's coming up next, because I'm actually going to be sending you a couple of these videos, and I really want you to set aside like 10 minutes to watch these videos as they come in, because they're going to answer so many questions about our process, about working with us, about what separates our clients who do massively successful amounts of deals, and the clients that we've had that have really struggled and had a lot of trouble. And understanding those things is really going to set you up for a lot of success. I'm going to email you video on our philosophy and our mindsets for success. What separates our successful clients from our non-successful clients. I'm going to talk about the timeline for our process and what you can expect at different points in time and how long it's going to take. I'm going to tell you about how we pick our keywords, our process for testing keywords nationally, how we pick the keywords that are in your account. I'm going to talk about how we work with your budget, when to expand your budget, when to shrink your budget. And I'm also going to talk about how we test your landing pages, how we do our split testing, how we figure out what's going to work in your market. And I'm going to keep adding to this. So I'm going to send you guys more information. And I'm not sending you stuff just to send stuff. I'm not sending you stuff because I think you want to learn all about what we do, because I know you probably don't. I mean, you may be interested in it, but you don't, just because you're interested in how a car works, you don't necessarily want to become a mechanic, right? I get that. But what these videos are going to do is give you a grounding in what we do, so you understand the data that we send to you. You understand when we respond to a question about what's going on in the account, you understand what we're talking about. And it's going to give you an incredible amount of control and power over your own success and your own marketing, which is really what's most important to us. So that's the most common questions that people ask us when they're new clients. Again, I'm so happy to have you. I hope that was super helpful. Watch out for the videos over the next couple days, and I will be talking to you very soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye.